Home prices in Las Vegas have absolutely exploded over the past year. If you want to know why that's happened, then stay tuned because this is the video for you. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all of the reasons why the home prices in Las Vegas have absolutely gone through the roof since 2020. And make sure you stay till the end of the video because I'm also going to be going over a few different ways you can still get a really affordable home in Las Vegas if that's what you're looking for. Hi guys, my name's Tom. I'm a local realtor here in Las Vegas. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Living in Las Vegas, where we talk everything about living in Las Vegas and moving to Las Vegas. Today's video, we're going to go over why home prices in Las Vegas have gone through the roof. But before we do that, please make sure you go down below, subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, and do me a favor, comment, your experience in the Las Vegas home market right now. Comment about your experience finding a home if you're looking for one, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them down in the comment section. With that, guys, let's jump right in with the first reason that home prices have gone through the roof, and that's going to be interest rates. So Freddie Mac started keeping track of interest rates that banks lend, mortgage rates, that sort of thing in 1970s, and interest rates now are lower than they have ever been. Let me repeat that. Interest rates are lower than they have ever been. Now, why is that important? Well, interest rate on your mortgage determines how much you're going to have to pay every month. Now, there's some other factors that go into that, like down payment and insurance and some other things. But your interest rate is your biggest concern when you're talking about what's your monthly payment going to be on the home that you're buying. And because interest rates are so stinking low right now, right? They're lower than they've ever been. Because they're so low, you can buy a lot of house with a little bit of money. So you don't have to put a lot of money down, but you can still get a pretty pricey $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home, and that monthly payment is still really affordable for a lot of people. So that's going to be a huge reason why people are absolutely just pouring into this market, is because they know their money is going to go farther and it's going to get them that bigger, better home that they want. And this is the only time this has happened, so people want to pour in and take advantage of it. Continuing from the whole interest rate thing, we're going to talk about COVID. So because of COVID, people are spending more time at home and more people are working from home than any time in the last couple decades. And that is really influencing a lot of people and pushing them towards buying new homes because they're spending more time at home. Maybe they're shoulder to shoulder with their kids, shoulder to shoulder with their spouse. They're tired of living in a small house. They're realizing they just don't have as much space as they thought they did because they're constantly in their home now, shoulder to shoulder with their whole family. And that's pushing a lot of people to buy new, bigger homes. That's certainly why I bought a new home just a few months ago, because we had a new set of twins. We needed more space. So that's happening to a lot of people. That's pushing a lot of people into the marketplace. COVID's also causing a lot of people to move states because there were a lot of people living in very urban areas that thought they needed to live there for their job, but now their job is all remote work. So now they're like, well, heck, we can pick up roots here and move to Las Vegas, for instance, or somewhere in Alabama or Oregon, or just somewhere else that's more rural or more suburban where home prices are less expensive. So if you're living in one of these areas where a lot of people are flocking to, like Las Vegas, for instance, a ton of people are flocking to Las Vegas every single year, or Nevada in general, a ton of people are coming here, and they were coming here pre-pandemic, they're coming here post-pandemic, they want to get away, they want that more rural style of living. So that's also driving home prices up in a lot of different areas. Your third reason that home prices are so high in Las Vegas right now is going to be because of those evil investors, whether they be small-time investors or whether they be big hedge fund investor companies like Blackstone. And guys, I don't really mean all investors are evil. I'm just making a joke. But investors right now, because of those low interest rates and because of high rent conditions in Las Vegas, right, high monthly rents, investors are flooding the market trying to buy up as many homes as they can, because then they can turn right around and rent them, and they can make an excellent return on that rental property because those rental rates are so stinking high. Now, they're not buying every property, of course. Investors, hedge funds, that sort of thing. They're not buying every single property. But what they are buying are a lot of older homes, maybe built in the 70s, 80s, some maybe even in the 90s. And they're buying them in more urban areas, more urban parts of the city, where a lot of first-time home buyers or lower income families, that sort of thing, would be looking to purchase their first home. And this might not seem horrible at a first glance because the investors are gonna buy these places, fix them up, and turn around and rent them. But most people don't want to rent forever, right? They want to rent their own home. So when these investors go around buying a bunch of properties, it leaves less properties for everyone else, including the first-time home buyers. And that just drives prices up, right? Because prices are set by market demand and by the number of homes on the market. So if the market demand is high and the supply is really low, there aren't a lot of homes on the market, then those home prices are going to skyrocket. And we've already talked about the fact that interest rates, people are pouring in the market because of interest rates, and that's driving demand up. People are pouring into the market because of COVID, that's driving the demand up. And now investors are pouring into the market because they can rent their properties for a lot of money, so they want to buy properties and turn around and rent them. And again, that is also driving the market up because it's just driving more demand for those houses, especially those first-time homeowner type houses. Another way investors can kind of drive those home prices up, inflate those home prices, is if there are investors with really deep cash pockets. Now, sometimes these are small-time investors. Other times they're like big hedge fund, billionaires, trillionaire hedge fund kind of people, or big business, that sort of thing, where they come into a neighborhood and they buy up 3 or 4 or 5 houses, but they pay cash for them. And the reason this drives up the home prices goes back to how home prices are kind of set. So when you do an appraisal, the appraiser is going to look at all the homes that are selling in the area. They're going to see what homes are similar, and they're going to say, okay, these 10 similar homes sold for X amount, so this other home is probably also worth that same or similar amount. Well, when a big business comes in, or a deep-pocketed investor, and we'll talk about cash buyers in a second because they do the same kind of thing. When they come into a neighborhood and the list price for a home is, say, $500,000, but they end up paying $600,000 because of a bidding war, that $600,000 becomes the new value of that home. So then when the appraiser comes in to appraise the next house that's for sale on the block, they see that $600,000 price tag on the home that just sold. Well, now that goes into the equation for pricing the next home and the next home and the next home. And over time, as those investors come in and buy homes for more than the list price, that jacks up the prices of the neighborhood. If you own a house in these neighborhoods already, that's great news for you because your home price is going to go through the roof. And a lot of people in Las Vegas have seen that over the past year, including myself. But if you're trying to buy a home, that's a big problem for you because home prices continue to climb, even though the homes don't really change all that much, don't really, get that much better. Home prices continue to climb, and then you end up getting priced out of the market. And I'm seeing this and hearing this from a lot of clients. All right, guys, if you haven't already, please go down below, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time I put out a new video. And with that, let's talk about the number 5 thing that is driving home prices up in Las Vegas, and that's going to be your cash buyers. Mostly people who are moving to Las Vegas from states with more expensive real estate markets. That's going to be number 1, California. And guys, I have nothing against anybody moving here from California. I have nothing against California buyers, and I've worked with several of them, and they're absolutely wonderful people. But because that real estate market in California is so much more expensive than Las Vegas, the people coming from California, if they sold a house in California and now they're moving to Las Vegas, more than likely they have ample amount of money, ample amount of cash to purchase a very similar home or even a much larger home in Las Vegas, and they're still gonna have some of that cash left over. So this allows them to really win all of those bidding wars because they don't care if they have to pay $50,000 over list price because they just sold their home for $1.5 million in California and they're buying a better home here in Las Vegas for way less expensive than it would have cost them in California. So they don't care if they have to win the bidding war by paying more than list price. But this goes back to what I talked about at the last one with the investors. That purchasing way over list price, the ability to put a lot of cash money down and then make the value of that home immediately jump up for the appraiser for the next home on the block, that drives home prices in the neighborhood, in the area, and now we're seeing, in the entire city of Las Vegas, that's slowly, well, I shouldn't say slowly, that's very quickly driven home prices absolutely through the roof over this past year because of all these different things. So that's one reason, home prices are going up is because those cash buyers from other states like California, but there's other states as well, are coming in and throwing down big bills on homes paying, more than that home is really worth, just because that home to them is very cheap compared to where they came from. All right, guys, number 5, or the last reason that Las Vegas home prices are going through the roof. We talked about interest rate, we talked about COVID, we talked about investors, we talked about cash buyers. Now let's just talk about everyone else. And we talked a little bit about this with COVID and interest rates, but this is kind of the culmination of both of those things, guys, that people, even if they don't work from home, even if they're not a deep money or deep cash money investor, if they don't have deep pockets, if they're not moving from California or Oregon or somewhere else, maybe they're just a regular, normal person and they have a home and they have a normal job, but they want a bigger home, or they want a home in a nicer area, or anything like that. The set of conditions that we have here with these super low interest rates, and they have been low for a long time now, guys, a long time. That condition, that low interest rate, plus the fact that people just maybe want a new home, is also driving a ton of people to the market. Because like I said, that low interest rate really allows your money to go way farther than it would otherwise. And that's the reason people want to get in, because they see, oh man, I can buy a house that is now 3,000 or 4,000 square feet, but I can pay the same amount of money I'm paying on my 2,000 square foot home right now. So you can't even hardly blame people for getting into the market and doing that. It's just the culmination of all these events, the interest rates, all that sort of stuff. It's driving people to the market. It's driving investors. It's driving big businesses. It's driving people who are tired of renting. That's another one, guys. Maybe you're renting, but your rent has just gone up and up and up, and you realize, hey, I could buy a house and I could pay way less for that house monthly than I'm paying now for my rental. So those people are trying to get into the market as well. So this culmination of events, it's just flooding people to the market from all different backgrounds, all different types of people, big business, small business, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it's just what we have to deal with at the moment. But no fear, guys, there are a few different ways that you can still find an affordable home in Las Vegas. I talked about this early in the video. I said, you got to stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to give you all the different ways you can still find an affordable home in Las Vegas. And here we go, guys. This is going to be really quick, so pay attention. The first one is going to be foreclosure.com. And this is a website that gathers a ton of information on foreclosures and a bunch of other different types of properties that are going up for sale. And they gather this information usually before it hits the MLS, the multiple listing service. So that means you're going to see it before a lot of the general public, a lot of the realtors see it. Now, this is a paid service, and no, this video is not sponsored in any way. It's just a cool service that I want to highlight. But you can get like a 7-day or sometimes even a month-long free trial where you don't have to pay anything. So if you can find a house that you want to buy in that first week or that first month that's free, then you won't have to pay anything for the service. But I think it's like $20 a month after that. So even if you did have to pay for a month, not a huge deal. So you can use foreclosure.com to find foreclosures or other kinds of properties that are in distress. And when I say distress, I don't mean the property's like a piece of crap. I just mean that the owners may no longer be able to afford the property, and you can get in touch with them, swoop in, maybe buy the property from them, or make some kind of deal with them that they're happy with, that you're happy with. You can hook that property up, you can lock it down, and then you'll have that affordable house in Las Vegas. The next option is the HUD housing store. The HUD housing store, HUD stands for Housing and Urban Development, part of the government. They sell all sorts of homes in all sorts of areas all across the country, but including Las Vegas. And a lot of those homes are generally pretty affordable because a lot of them are geared towards lower income and first-time homebuyer families. So if that's the way you guys want to go, then you're going to go to the HUD website, you're going to go through their HUD store, and you're going to check out what homes are available in your area. They also have some information about lenders, what kind of loans you qualify, how much you qualify for, all that sort of stuff, guys. So you're gonna have to check that out. That's also a really great way you can find an affordable home in Las Vegas that, it's not gonna break the bank. One of the final ways you guys can find an affordable home in Las Vegas is check out the Clark County delinquent real property taxes and like real property tax auctions. So you're gonna find properties at these auctions and on this website through the county that where the taxes haven't been paid by the owner. So maybe they owe a few $1,000s in taxes. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna bid on those properties, you're gonna have to pay off those taxes, but then after that, the property is gonna be yours. And a lot of times, guys, you can get these properties for pennies on the dollar versus what it would have paid to buy this house directly from the owner, subject to actual market conditions. But beware, a lot of these ways, like foreclosure.com, the tax records, and HUD, in some cases, you will be subject to competing with other investors and that sort of thing. That's especially true for foreclosure.com and for the tax records. A lot of other investors, a lot of other local buyers, a lot of other countrywide buyers who just want to buy a property in Las Vegas and don't care how they do it, or they have the time to really, they can really take that time to find that affordable property. They're going to use all these methods as well. So you will be competing with some other people. But if you have to find a property at a good deal, if you really want to find that affordable property, these are the best ways to do it. Guys, please check out the rest of my channel. There's probably some videos popping up on the screen. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you put your comments down in the description, ask some questions, and please leave some more information for the next guy just to help them out. And if you need anything, my contact information is down in the description. I get reach outs all the time. Please reach out with anything you need. And if you're buying a home in Las Vegas, I'm here to help. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Bye.